No, it's all right, just for the other. So people don't stay.
G'day, all. G'day, Doggies fans. All Things Bulldogs, episode 43. And here we go again. I'm sorry we're a bit late tonight, guys. So if you got to go to bed, I understand, but it'll be waiting there for you tomorrow. All our words of wisdom. Good evening, Gus, in the new place, mate.
Good evening, Michael. Yeah, mate, all moved in. Still got a temporary setup at the moment, but I'll do some more work on the office and get it beautiful, Bulldog ready soon. So Good things take time. Good things take time, mate.
Well, it looks better than mine. I can see me belt on the floor, me washing basket. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. Who's up for a yo-yo challenge while we're waiting?
Got my original 95 jersey up there. It still fits too, just quietly.
So what is the yo-yo challenge? Like, I don't even actually know what it is.
The yo-yo challenge is derived from the beak test, but it's not exactly the beak test. The beak test, if you remember, they run back and forth without stopping. The yo-yo challenge, you stop 5 or 10 seconds depending on. So you actually stop. So it's actually more simulating of a game. So you're sprinting the 20 meters, you're stopping, then you're coming back, then you're stopping. So it's actually, that's why there's a couple of different levels they can do it as well. So I think the league guys, they might do it on the level 1, where others can do it on level 2. So for rugby league, that's probably what they did. So obviously the results were very good for our halves, but you can understand someone like a Galvin, lightweight, light on his feet, fit, young, would have just been running, stopping, can go all day, mate. That's probably why he won the challenge.
Well, he broke the record today for the shuttle cattle dog thing, which is a similar thing. It's 1,200 meters, but they run 60, then run 50, run 30, run 20, and back. It takes and he did it in 4 minutes 21, which was a new record apparently.
Wow.
So just Dreg said he can't go to bed now. The dog father's live. That's right, brother. Timmy said good evening. He said,
"G'day, Tim."
Phil says Dreg. It's all right. Marcos wants to know why we're late. Well, I'm sorry we're late. But yeah, had to work. I've got a few days off after tonight, so I had to do try and make extra money the last couple of days. So that's why I'm late and get everything ready and that sort of stuff. And so sorry about that, good mate. We'll try and get on when we can. G'day, Jay Pizzle. G'day, Dave. G'day, Bob Bell. Welcome for the first time, I'm pretty sure, Bob. I like your name. Timmy said, big shout out to Mick. He sent me some awesome All Things Bulldogs scented car things and 2 bucket hats to don at the beach. There you go.
Awesome, Timmy.
Welcome, Amir. G'day, Aki. Good night, Aki. You got school tomorrow.
He's all right. Kids don't. No kids ever sleep this early, mate.
No. It is, thanks. Oliver NRL, guess who you go for? South Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
Ring the bell.
Swans.
I go for the Swans too, Jude. So that's all good.
What's that, Jude Bolton?
Little Wagga boys go for the Swans. Oh, you go for the Panthers. That's all right. We're the Bull Panthers, mate. Did you see me article on if you go to Zero Tackle, I did a nice article on Nathan Cleary because everyone was being nasty to him. I thought I'd defend him. So you should go read that, Bob. I'm one of the writers there now. God help us all. Dave's enjoying having Gas's beautiful face on the podcast. I still love you, Mick. You're all right.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Oh, look, he looks like he's blushing a bit. It's going to his head already. Look.
I'm here to keep him honest, Dave. That's all. Otherwise, it'll never be a 1 hour podcast. It'll be 6 hours if we let him go on his own. So I'm here to rein him in a bit, hold him back. Come on, mate. That's enough. Let's keep moving.
Don't hold.
This is the problem when you know too much.
All right, Bob. Well, ask any questions you want, mate. We, everyone respects the Panthers for what they've done, and Gus built the house. Then he left, and they succeeded afterwards. So that's what he'll do with us too, brother. We love the banner gas. That's right. Timmy. So what would you rate the Dogs' year out of 10 last year, Gas? You go first. Good question, Bob.
Out of 10, mate, I think for me it would be like at least an 8.5, 9. Like I think they overachieved considering what everyone's expectation was. I know they finished the year strong in 2024, but overall, I know we didn't get the job done in the finals, but I still think we did extremely well considering everything that was dealt to us last year. So if anyone said that you were going to finish third in the regular season, no one would have believed you, irrespective of who you were playing. You've got so many challenges in the year that you have to deal with. So, I'd say at least an 8.5. Obviously, 10 would have been, winning the grand final or even. But, I think we did fantastic to get ourselves to where we did, considering all the challenges and still we're building. Every year the guys are playing together, they're building that experience, that combination, that system becomes more ingrained. I mean, it didn't, like you just said for Panthers, it didn't happen overnight for the Panthers. They effectively had to lose a grand final. It took Gus's 5-year plan, took 10 years basically, but anything worth doing is worth sticking to. So for us to do what we did, I feel like it was an overachievement overall, especially with the way that we got smashed in the media and everything all around it. But there's still so much to improve on this year. But that score is based on last year, based on where we were. This year, the expectations will be different, and where you're going this year after the last 2 years is going to be another system entirely. So, what about yourself, mate? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd have to say an 8 out of 10, and that's a good score. Look, if you're just scoring everyone if you're rating everyone the same for their season, I suppose an 8's fair enough as well. Like, I think as far as exceeding expectation, I think the Bulldogs did that. But I also think that when you look at how we played, even when they talk about the Dogs' end-of-year capitulation again, they were in there. They were in those games up to their neck, and most of the games they won, the Dogs had to work hard for it. Nothing was easy. Like it just felt like no game was easy all year. Even except for the Souths games, I felt the Souths games, they looked like they had nothing. And even when they got close to us in that second one disrupted by lightning, they just looked like they were nowhere near the Bulldogs as far as ability. They looked good at the end of the year when there was no pressure, and they just went for it a little bit and got a few players back. Cody coming on fresh, enjoying their football. But look, I've got South Sydney as the big dark horses for this year, but it all depends if those training facilities hold up and they don't get injured at work practicing, which is where most of their injuries have come from in the last couple of years.
I can tell you that I know that their ground has been completely upgraded.
Okay.
And I can give you an example. Someone like Bronson Garlick, who's recently entered the team, has come along and said he was worried when he actually came about the ground. That's what he kept hearing coming from the Storm system. But when he got there, he said it's leaps and miles ahead of the system that they've got in the training facilities at Amy Park. And he was very excited. The condition of the ground is doing very, very well. So I've heard that firsthand, that the ground has improved, and the Rabbitohs have got the facility now to match the overall building that they're in as well, which is state of the art.
Yeah. Can you tell him to let his dad know that I ordered 3 Garlo's pies in today's shop at Coles and there was no stock, so I'm not very happy about that. If you can let I watched Fortress with Sean Garlic in it again the other day. Just
yeah.
Yeah. I know all about Shawnee. Don't you worry about that. All right, mate. Bobby gave our stream a like. Thank you, Bob. Matthew's finally made it here. Good to see you, Matty. Emmanuel set up the dogs. Ooh, up the dogs. Bob reckons the Eels can win in 26 if their players don't get hurt. What's that type of comp? And Diggs 96 has come on to say hello. How do we think Para will go in 26? Look, I think Parramatta, he quickly got rid of a lot of the players. He's put a lot of young guys in there. They've got one of the fastest back lines. If they've got their halfback playing, they'll go well. But I just think it was hypocritical of him to drop Dylan Brown because they were looking at the future, and now they've got Jonah Pezze for a year. I just think that doesn't make sense. And I'm not sure, everyone will be fine unless they start losing. But look, there's some guys there. Gideon Katonga, he's got a lot of Bulldogs juniors or a lot of players that are at the Bulldogs for a bit are there that we want to see do all right and do well. But look, Parramatta could make the 8 for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if they finish bottom 4. They're sort of in that, to me, they'll be in that mix of, bottom 4 to edge of the 8, which you'd probably put Canterbury in that mix as well. We still haven't, although we've beaten most of those sides now and got the monkey off the back and dominating most of those teams at the moment, as far as putting back-to-back wins against them, the Dogs still, to me, need to dominate those sides. And by that, I mean, just, put a 50-0 on a couple of them, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Oh, look who's just joined up again. Wondering when you're going to come back. Thank you, mate. That's wonderful. Much appreciated.
And for everyone else, guys, Michael puts in a lot of work to do this podcast, to write all these articles, to do all this analysis. It doesn't take much to go on there, guys, and just join up as a member. It's only a very, very tiny amount that you pay every month, and it's just so easy. You're paying so many things. The least you could do is, for all the effort that Michael puts in to get everything ready, all the content, website creations, all these things cost money. So, he does it for love. He does it to get us all that content and keep us away from all the bad channels. So, take it from me. If I'm putting myself in the supporter's shoes, it's the least we could do just to help him out. So, it doesn't take much, guys. Feel free to jump on there. You click on that button and then away you go. It's very, very easy. I showed you there. So, yeah, thanks, Timmy. So, very easy to do, guys. Support as much as you can just to keep this stuff alive, mate. We're going 360 all the way through every week. So others don't do that, but and we do it for love. So it's all good. Sorry, mate. Continue. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, I actually didn't hear anything you said. Can you repeat that for me again, please?
Too late. It's gone.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. We've even got a Broncos supporter who joined up the channel as well, which is awesome. So, look, much appreciated for everyone joined. Jamie Teasdale joined last week. Got a couple of other guys as well, so it's really good. Helps. Much appreciated. But at least make sure you're liking and subscribing and all that sort of stuff if you haven't. Thanks, James. And Dig says, thanks for answering. No worries at all, brother. No worries at all. Look, while Eels are my biggest rival, the team I want to beat the most, I actually sort of barracked for them in the Super League war when they were in the ARL because of all the Bulldogs players that joined them. So sort of had a little bit of anyway. I don't really feel much anymore though. Although there's a lot of Dogs players that have gone there. But look, Amir said that we're levels above Para and he thinks the Dogs will make the top 4. Well, look, I went through the draw and I did a fair bit of that on Saturday night, pretty late. I'm not sure if everyone got to watch it all. Also did the article on Dogfather Media as well, which it may appear on Zero Tackle as well. We'll see. And look, guys, I think top 5 is where I see us. And with that draw that we've got, looking at it from the start, going to Vegas, a bit of a tougher draw. I think a 5th place finish would be acceptable. I still look. I'm excited to see what Thompson brings. I'm excited by these young guys, but I also understand the reality of a lot of our spine members are way young, and you've got to give them time. And people are sick of giving people time. People are sick of waiting in this club. Like you're listening to Jammer and that talk about it. Like we want a grand final this year. We've got to make a grand final. Pressure's on Burton to win a grand final. Like I think that Chamis created that headline. I think it's ridiculous. They're not going to base whether we keep Burton on whether we can win the grand final this year. That'll be a business decision made in the best interest of the team and the club moving forward and the best interest of him. Won't have anything to do with where we finish. But once again, thanks for joining there, Gas.
No worries, mate.
Here's our backyard Broncos supporter here. I'm undercover. Oh, welcome to our backyard. And Jason said, thanks again for another great cast. My pleasure, Jason. Feel free to join. Dig says it's his favourite rivalry game. Mugger says finish 5th to 7th. Yeah, I think that's anywhere from... Look, I could see the Dogs finishing anywhere from 1st to fucking 15th, to be honest. Just based on all the... just the balance and look, that's with injuries and stuff. We still don't have the depth that some teams have. And whilst it continues to it's getting better and better. But I could have said the same about last year. I could have said the same about the year before. Our depth, I believe, is getting better. Some big opportunities for players like Jonathan Sewer, who is good to see him at training. Big opportunities for the likes of, Cade Dykes, Gordon Chen, Kum Tong, all these players who have come because they are essentially right in the picture depth-wise. And if there's any injuries, they're all going to be in the picture to get a go. And we know this game in NRL, injuries happen. So, one minute you're going well, representing your country. Next minute you may not play again,
Now, Pete's thrown a message there to you, Mick, saying that he sent you the top 30 and he's pretty sure Terps has left the club. Jake Turpin.
Who said that?
Mr. Pete Weber. Go.
Thanks for joining. I'll have a look at that. So go through the messages there, mate, while I'm having a look.
Yep. So James is saying, have you heard Buzz won't be writing his column next season? Sack, we're talking only about Jammer's show. Amir's asking if he thinks we're capable of making the top 4. I mean, look, I think Mick just answered that. I mean, we could be anywhere between 1 and 8, hopefully. It's, I've said it a few times. You look at the example of the Warriors sitting pretty in the top 4. They lose, their Metcalf, and then they start the slippery slope down. Any team has that challenge. It could affect, Fogarty not being at the Raiders now, who knows how that's going to affect them. He's a steady hand. Different things will happen in different teams. Reece Walsh gets injured early in the season or late in the season. It could flip the Broncos. So many things can change. But we're definitely capable of making the top four. We definitely have a draw that I think, we can make work for us. It's just going to be, you need a little bit of luck from injuries and suspensions. And we've got a favourable origin period. And even the finish to the year is pretty good for us at the end there. Finishing with, I think it was Rabbitohs, Dragons, then Panthers and Broncos there in the last four. So, it's all set up for us to get into a position where we can have a tilt at the finals. And now that it's been 2 years in the finals, I think there's a continued learning by the coaching team. There's another experienced coaching head there, assistant there. It's going to be a better preparation, I think, every year that we're in the finals to go that extra step or two or three, hopefully, every year. So we are all craving for that next premiership. I don't think any of us will be able to contain, what's going to come if we do get that result. So I'm absolutely excited. I've been there for quite a few grand finals in the past, so I know what it's like. But this is obviously the longest stretch, in my time, and I'm sure for a lot of people, they haven't even seen a grand final victory. So yeah. It's going to be exciting. There were a number of teams fighting it out for the 7 to 8 position from 7 to 12. Timmy saying, and Gordon's looking so fit. Yes, he did mug us. He looking very solid in his size. Yes, I feel we have surpassed top 8. We are looking for top 4. Look, like we just said there, it would be ideal. Obviously, every team chases a top 4 to have that second bite. I can tell you something. If we get the top 4 this year, I can guarantee we'll be in the grand final next year. So let's you can hold me to that if we get there. King Leondius is saying, can you please provide your thoughts on why our hooker? You want to go for it? Go for it, mate.
Great job, brother, and thank you so much. And thank you, Pete, for sending that through. So, look, there's a potential that 2 players have joined the top 30 in Jonathan Sewer and Joey O'Neill. Now, I've got a photo of Joey at training last week. He's been kept off all the major stuff, but a photo was taken of him and sent to me. But I didn't think he'd be playing top 30, but the noise about that's getting louder. And Jonathan Sewer, I thought there might be a real chance of him being in the top 30 simply because, we've had injuries to Inari Tuala late in the year. Marcello Montoya and Jeffro Renicama, even though he was in the development list for this year, would have been like first man up onto that wing position. So I think Jono will take that place. And looking at his photos, I'm seeing someone with a lot of steel in their eyes, someone with a lot to prove. And I really hope that's the case because, as I said, I think this kid's fucking special. And I know a lot of people think the same. Now, he's got to prove it, and all I say is if you're not getting picked, well, you still got more to prove until you do. And that's how it works. You work harder. I used to always say to people aspiring to be managers and stuff, it's like, well, don't try and stab your manager in the back. Help your manager lift you up. Get on your pathway and you earn it. And you will get the promotion that you want. And look, that's what I think these guys are going to do for lifting each other up through their connection, through their culture. Bailey Hayward. Big chat on this. So, look, I think you'll find that Reed Marnie would have been one of the lowest in the competition for running from dummy half as well. It's Bailey didn't play that many games either. So, he's not a player. He's a player who is a defensive specialist, a line speed specialist, and a vision specialist. And his whole gameplay, whether it's small lock or from straight up the ruck, is getting the ball into people in a better position to get the ball and choosing the right options. And that's something which takes time as well. So I think you'll find his running game will evolve. He's got the ability to kick as well. He's got a kicking game. He's got all that stuff. But the game plan is the game plan. And if he's not running from dummy, this is what people need to realise about rugby league. I think people get stuck in stats. And this is what we try and teach on this podcast a little bit, is that stats are just an outcome. And it's not like under sixes. It's not like under 12s where everyone's trying to, like, give the ball to me, give the ball to me. I want the ball. I demand the ball. Give me the ball. It's not about that. They play a fucking game plan. And when that game plan's working, certain players are going to get certain stats, right? And when their game plan's not working, there's going to be a whole bunch of different stats that you're going to see. So massive tackle counts, for example, higher missed tackle counts when you don't have possession. When you have possession, you usually have less missed tackles. You make more meters. If you're dominating field position, your forwards are going to make more meters from most teams, right? If the other team can't get out of their own end, your fullback's going to make heaps of meters because he's going to catch the ball in the full and he's going to run it 20 to 25 meters before he gets tackled. He's going to get away a quick play the ball and it's going to be on again. The back three are going to make 200 meters each. Like, stats are based on game plans and how the other team's letting you play as well. But look, there's a stat for Cronulla's Jaden Brayley or Blake Brayley, one of the two, the young one. When he runs over 65 meters, the Sharks win. If he runs under 6, every time he runs over 65 meters from dummy half, they've won 100% of the time. But that stat's actually a bit of a fake stat because it's been also in games where they've dominated possession. They've been dominating the game, which is why he's been able to do that. And with Adam Fanua, Blake, and all these big bastards in your forward pack, plus a back three, which Mulatalo and Katoa are used to making 200 meters a game, it's no wonder, that he should be able to run from dummy half a bit more often. So that's how I see it. Canterbury, our game plan isn't about running from dummy half. But I think when we do, I think that part of our game may evolve as we get more top heavy with players like Leo Thompson and big boys who can play longer minutes. It just enables your hookers to go out there and do more of that attacking stuff. The reason that the Reed Marnies and that haven't run as much is because they've been having to put so much effort into defense and into tackling that they knock up quicker if they're running from dummy half all the time. Like, that's what happens when you're running from dummy half. You're using more energy, and that energy comes out of your defensive game as well. So it's all about balance. It's all about fitness. It's all about, getting that resolve over years and years and years in order to deal with it. So there you go. How do you think we'll attack the ball?
Well, mate. Yep. Well, Timmy mentions as well in the next comment that we need a fast start. Well, obviously, the fast start was what helped us in 2025. Obviously, it was a record fast start for us, but it did. When you did do that, you definitely set the season up, and it allows you to control what happens from there. We did that, and we kept adding enough wins around it through the rest of the year, even though we had a couple of losses here and there. But it kept us in control of our position. Where if you look at teams like the Panthers and that, although they got there in the end, it was a chase the whole year, and you never knew what was going to happen. I mean, it becomes a lot harder to play your season. In the end, they ran out of puff in the game against the Broncos. So for us, I think, I honestly think it's a good draw for us. Honestly, you don't want an easy draw. I mean, we had an easy draw, technically this year, especially when you look at where the teams that we played were in the 8. Majority of the teams we beat were all, especially the ones twice, were all outside the 8, pretty much. If you look at it based on results, and obviously those teams do finish out the 8 when we are beating those kinds of teams. So it's a two-way street. It's not just that they're out there. Us beating them and others beating them, put them outside the 8. But I think the draw is good for us. We do have a good origin period. I really thought we struggled with the origin period this year. I think it really stalled our season to a degree. Even though the players that were playing, we had the injuries and suspensions around it, and we also, with Preston, we also had that dreaded 19th man that kept rearing its head for us. So I think the draw we've got this year will keep us going all the way through, and I think someone like Seraldo now will start to learn how to balance out sort of the effort areas all the way through the season. Because if you look at it, the start of the season was so overwhelming this year that you're up there. Where do you go from there? I think it's the good teams always build into it. I mean, if you look at the Broncos through the season, at times you were thinking they're not even going to make the 8. And all of a sudden, they peaked at the right time and won the grand final. That's where I see our season developing. You get off to a fast start, you hold yourself, and then you build into the end of the year, and then you finish strongly where you've got everything right. That's what the good teams have been doing in the last few years, and Penrith has done it so well. They sort of grind and scratch and stuff, and they look like they're not doing too much early in the season. Then all of a sudden, at the end of the season, they just come good in the finals and play that Panthers defense and etc., and then just dominate in the end and just grind you away. And they're happy to do it. So, yeah, I think we still need to be smart in how we approach the year. I think the team is already working now with the draw, the analysts, everyone's already working out what they're going to do, planning-wise, trip-wise, potentially do they stay in Brisbane for the 2 weeks on the second and third game in Brisbane? Do all these little things they have to look at, say how are we going to help ourselves if it's doable. If it's not, fly back, whatever. So they're going to be looking at all the options to get the best result. And I think that's what's going to happen for us. There's a lot of sort of moving pieces still to affect that.
Look, there's a lot of sorry guys. I think the round 1 game will be like a grand final type preparation. Like, I don't think it's going to be like, we'll build into this round 1. Like, this round 1's going to be like, because we get that 18-day break, it's like we plan for everything into round 1 to win. And then we reset. They have their plan for the next 3 weeks to go into that Canberra game. And where we've got Canberra away, and then it's home, I think, to Newcastle South.
Newcastle. Panthers.
Newcastle, then Souths on Good Friday.
Yep.
And I think we've got the Eels, and who's the other team?
Panthers after the
Panthers.
Yeah. Yep.
So look, it's a real opportunity, I think, to win 5 games out of that first 7 at least, which would be I would see as an acceptable start to the year. I think the next period through that Brisbane period is going to be important. I'm not sure what they're going to do on that. I think that's really interesting what's going to happen. Like, what they've been doing is just going there late, not doing any fan stuff whatsoever. No fan stuff. All the fan stuff's been based at home base. They did some fan stuff in the trials in Queensland. I think because they're going there 3 times, I think they'll do one of the games. They will do a meet and greet. I don't think in an open training session. I think they'll do that for one of the games. I don't think they'll do it for all of the games. They go into their camps where they sort of leave their family behind, and that's a week by week thing that they do. and that's where their connections come from and being built sort of faster than it normally would. They do a lot of team bonding activities and stuff. So, look, I think it's fair to expect the dogs to improve. But, again, places on a ladder, I know what people want to draw lines and define seasons by this sort of stuff. I need to turn this thing off because it's driving me insane. I define our games by each game that we play and the actual performance of everyone involved. You know, it's a cliche, week at a time, but, you know, there was some games where we lost where I felt we were better than games where we won by 20 and 30 last year. So you don't always get the win, but when you do, she's a hell of a day, as the song says. You know, they don't take any win for granted. They love every time they win. You can see it on their faces. They're excited. Winning, we forgot how to win. Now we expect to win, and that's and I guess what Amir was saying was that's sort of where he's at. We expect to win. We expect to be in the 8 now. Now it's top 4. Now it's get there. And look, I sort of see our transition a little bit like Cronulla, but for us to be like Cronulla, to regularly make the finals, regularly make that top 4, you've got to sort of be consistent, beat the teams you're supposed to beat, get a couple of big wins here and there. But I think they've just had so much stability in their roster, and we haven't. We keep turning it over, and there's going to come a time where, and well, look, I think for Canterbury, that's going to continue to sort of happen until pretty much, 50% of the team are developed players in our system. I think they're just going to keep going until they get there, and however long it takes, and as I said, for some players in our system, it might take them weeks and weeks and weeks to get the trust, but it only takes a couple of bad performances to lose it. You know what I mean? It's pretty cutthroat at the Canterbury Bulldogs at the moment. And that's through all the grades. So, look, I'm just excited about a lot of the players in our team. I'm excited about how we perform. If that gets us to top 4, look, we need to, hopefully we can get a couple of semi-final wins. That'd be great. But, yeah, I'm just not sure if we're ready yet. Just not sure.
I think you're right about the cutthroat. I mean, a typical example of that is someone like a Blake Wilson, who most people love as a player, but he just lost the running from the coaching staff. I mean, as well as he went in attack, I feel like his defensive efforts were probably what just the coaching staff lost confidence with. We all wanted him back in there. We're like, why isn't he playing? Why are we, putting in, Inari and Jethro? Well, that's just the way it is. The coaching staff does what they need to do behind the scenes, and it's like Mick said, it's tough. So it's, you get in there, you got to go even harder to keep your spot and to keep improving. So it's good. It's good that Jay Pizzle saying Centre of Excellence being built. Can't wait to see the dividends. Yeah, mate, we're all looking forward to that. I've been through the Rabbitohs Centre behind the scenes. It is their setup is equally impressive. It makes a massive difference to have that set up. So just to the way you operate. I haven't seen nothing about the Mexican team. Do you know anything about that? Are they?
Yeah, well, I heard that they're going to build a wall.
Through to the World Cup. What's going?
I heard they're going to build a wall, and they're going to pay for it. That's what I heard, unfortunately. But yeah, good on them. They love their soccer, the Mexicans. But look, the Melbourne Storm are the Mexicans in rugby league. So I don't think the Melbourne Storm will play in the World Cup. Australia will, though. So we'll see how it goes. But thanks for your comment. Make sure you like, subscribe, and join the channel for as little as $1.50 a month. Thank you. Hayward's service isn't the greatest. Yeah, but whose service is? Sometimes Marnie's wasn't great either. You know, I think we're a little bit overly critical on that. The club's not going to pick someone.
It's not easy to be a hooker, mate. First season in.
No. That's why they played him there. Because obviously it's about the rest of his game was more important to the team than maybe that part he's got to keep working on. And he will. He'll be better for it. He's got a lot of self-belief, that kid, and he's got a really good network around him, and and he's a tough little bugger too. So hot, very, very competitive, very intelligent. I think where people don't know who they're talking about right now. Look, I used to watch Cameron Smith just pick the ball up and walk. Basically looked like he was walking left or right a little bit and just putting people into space. Like he just had time. His mind and his toughness and his ability to cheat and get away with it was just so much better than everyone else. But his service off the ground was okay. You know, he's just a great footballer, you know, just a great footballer. Leo Thompson. We've got a few on Leo here, so Bob said, what do you think about Leo Thompson at the Dogs? And Joey said, what impact and difference will Leo Thompson make to our forward pack in 26? We need another big and mobile forward to help without spending much money to get that. Underhill is expecting to debut. Yeah, well, we're not buying another big forward, Joey. Like, it's not happening, mate. So let's talk a bit. I'll answer this one again too, Gas.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Like everyone keeps talking about, we need another one, we need another one, we need another one. Well, we didn't need any to win 7 in a row to start. So that's a good start. I think when people say, when they talk about Tino Fasua-Mawali, they talk about Payne Haas, Patrick Carrigan, you know, you got Aden Fanua-Blakes. There's only about 8 or 9 big props that can play over 60 minutes consistently. And Leo Thompson is going to be that sort of one of those blokes. He can play long minutes. He's fit. He doesn't take a backward step. He runs hard. He'll get walloped sometimes, like all good props do. But he won't back down from the challenge. And, you know, the Newcastle Knight fans who are bitter about it, and I love Knights fans, even if they're being pricks, I think that they're just being burnt so bad by having look, they had a forward pack to die for. The Saifidi brothers, Leo Thompson emerging, Tyson Frizzell, you know, young Dylan Lucas developing on the other edge. You've got, you know, Crossland developing. They had Brayley there who's just gone to the Raiders, who kept doing his knee. Adam Elliott's not a bad player. And Jason and Hetherington, who I think's left as well. Jack Hetherington's actually a good footballer. He just keeps getting it wrong. I just felt that what a wasted opportunity for the Knights the last 5 years has been. And it must be frustrating for their fans and for the players themselves. But Leo Thompson, if you go back and watch the 2023 Pacific final when New Zealand beat Australia 30-0, watch him off the bench. He was sensational. And I've seen him do some things that he'll be able to bring to his game in Canterbury. So how do I see it helping us? I've talked about it a fair bit, but it's a good question, Joe, but he will, he allows Max King to have that partner in crime. Look, it's good for Sam Hughes to be there with Max King. If Leo gets injured or something, these other players are going to step up, and it's like, oh, we haven't lost too much, you know what I mean? And they're going to be working harder because DSF, Sam Hughes, Jack Todd, Lipboy Hopboy, they're all on 1-year deals. They're all off contract. There's not space for all of them. Jack Underhill comes into our side next year, the year after. Logan Spinks comes into the team the year after, right? They all come into the top 30. So we have to develop our young players. You know, we've brought some journeymen and developed them into Origin players. Max King, an 85-game player who'd had 3 massive knee injuries and was going to quit the game, got told he should train and give it another crack. Next minute, he's playing Origin 3 years later. It's like we developed him. Forget about his age. He's a development product of the Bulldogs. Played for the Titans and the Storm, and he was actually quite good off the bench for the Storm. Kurt Mann, another one, done some great things at the Knights and at the Dragons and at the Storm. But at Canterbury, he's a new identity. I think he learned Serrato taught him how to play piano as well. So look, we have to develop our next big guys, and it's about players that can handle the middle, handle it for long minutes, and do it week in, week out without breaking down after a few weeks. Harry Hayes, we saw him coming. I've done a lot of posts on Harry, some beautiful songs on him as well. Check him out. Put a lot of work into those. I sung them both in 2 different voices, played all the instruments. So join the channel and I'll get you some more. But yeah, look, that's the best I can answer that. We've got a lot of competition for spots. There's no one else we can really bring into the club unless there's an opportunity arises. But as far as a Tino or a Payne Huss, no. Those players are developed in their system. I know Tino went from Melbourne to the Titans and he's had options every single year. But that's not for us. That's not for us. We get players that are going to become someone. You know, we get them early to develop them, or we give people an opportunity to play their best football at the Bulldogs. And that's working out really well for us at the moment. And I think that's the way it's going to continue. And what I think we'll see is these Lipboy Hopboys, Jack Underhills, Jack Todds, even Hughesy and Fafita. Like, they don't want to leave the club. They want to stay here another year and get another year contract if they can, and keep fighting and fighting and fighting and getting their names in headlights and playing well every time they go out there. So it's a good place to be in. I like our forward pack. I really do. Thank you, Jamie. Where's Jamie? Let's put his comment straight up. Leo Thompson will do his job. He's keen to play in front of the Dogs fans, and on our side, he's experiencing being on the other side. That's it. Yeah, I put some Pantera to Tomo training. I thought that would go down well. It's got about 3,000 views or something, which is pretty good. But thanks again, Jamie. Much appreciated. And thanks for joining as well. We really appreciate it, mate. Did we miss some people here?
Yep. Just a few comments about a good summary on Haywood, King was saying. And they're asking about any traits. I think Dave also said he doesn't give away as many penalties. But I think it's hard to judge Haywood yet as a hooker. For me, it's still, he's only been in it 5 minutes. He's a smart footballer, like Michael said, and he's evolving into that role. And I think this off-season, without Marnie being there altogether, his growth will accelerate in the off season, and you'll see him come round one and be a different player. And I've said it for a few weeks now in the last few, or a few podcasts ago. When he does start to mix his game up and do a Harry Grant and go for a scoot out of dummy half, it'll just throw the opposition off a little bit. You just have to do it once or twice a game sometimes, and then they just don't know when you're going to do it. And then you can have some room out the back when you do. But he's good enough. He showed it last year. He's good enough. I think he cut through one of those games and gave it back to Kikau on the inside. So when he wants to, mate, he can run the ball. But just that confidence, doing his job, doing it well, then the rest of his game will develop around it. He's just trying to get the basics right. It's when you play a new position, it's tough sometimes. You're a bit unsure. You don't want to make a mistake. You're trying to learn, and there's all of us to please as well, not just his teammates. So it's a big expectation on him. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, look, I've been asking about Turpin, and so far I've got whispers that he's gone. I think there's a lot of assumption made by the fact that he's been removed off our website, the Bulldogs website, and the fact that Jonathan Sawyer and Joey O'Neill are still on that website. It may be people putting two and two together. But it may not be as well. Like that might be, that's probably might be because they're top 30. So I don't know if Gus is answering stuff on that yet, but whoever gets the job, I'm happy with it. Andy says that Hayward's got the footy smarts and Ali Katoa big out for Melbourne. Yeah, it's a huge out for them. They've lost Nelson Asafa Solomona. I know he hasn't played much. They've also, I'm not sure if Choi Kamika is if they're going to take out the option on him for this year as well, because they've got a club option on him for next year. A player I really like for them that's really on the rise that is sort of coming through quietly is that Alec McDonald. I think he is a player we need to watch big time. Probably like in the mould of a Harry Hayes for us is him over there. So,
Mick, when I see something about Eli Katoa now, I'm really not focused on whether he's a big loss for Melbourne. For me, personally, what he's going through, and he may never play again, that for me is another issue, like just his own livelihood, his career, his well-being. That's, I think, more important when you see what happened to him and how it happened. And there is going to be a lot done about this. It actually could shift our game altogether. In the way that they police these things. I think it's got to have a lot more ramifications for the game in itself, rather than just whether he's a loss for Melbourne or for him. For me, it's a lot bigger than that, and it's still something that's just starting. There's going to be a lot happening around that.
Look, I'm going to talk. I'll talk on that a little bit now because, 100% agree with. Fuck the rugby league. Eli Katoa is a son. I'm not sure if he's got kids or anything. Sure, he's got a partner. He's a brother and a sister, an uncle, a cousin. And he suffered a horrendous knock. But what I'll say is that there's people who die in rugby league out there. People die in rugby league. That's our game. It's always been our game. And we need to not just react because it happened on TV or with NRL. You know what I mean? Like, to me, we need to see if our game gets threatened because of it. That's where I default to. I go, look, this is why I respect the players and I don't give them a hard time for the most part, especially in our team, because they are risking their lives every time they go out there. And none of them would change it. Ellie wouldn't change it. He might think back and go, I wish I realised something was wrong and I knew what to do. And I wish that somebody else might have seen it. But a lot of these people, they'll cop a knock and they won't even know something's that wrong. And then they'll get another knock and they could be in a whole heap of trouble. And it might not happen for 3 weeks. So, look, these head knocks have been happening. I think there needs to be video footage of every single training session, every single warm up, that sort of stuff. You need to have people watching that. I think that's where there needs to be changes. I think there needs to be fresh reserves that are used purely for head knocks.
Yeah.
So if they stay down, they go get checked.
Yeah.
No matter what, and they replaced by one of two people. If they come back on, that player goes off and doesn't participate again unless there's another head knock. I think they've got to do something like that. Have fresh players for that, and forget. And I like what they did for the majority of the second half of the season, where they were able to assess intent. So, if there were mitigating circumstances, they allowed the game to play. There was none of this. Because, look, if I sit there and look at a replay and then penalise and sin bin someone, there's 5,000 players in park football who don't have that same thing. If it gets missed on their field, it gets missed. The concussion still happens. This is my whole point. So it's all just perception management for the benefit of litigation. And I'm telling you, litigation lawyers, that they know exactly what I know when I say that. So the game needs to be able to protect itself and then make sure that it's doing everything in its power to protect those players. And we've all found that, sin bins and 5-week suspensions. And look, it's ridiculous. Like, Preston got suspended for 4 weeks because he put in 3 early pleas on things that did nothing. Yet there were people who got absolutely coat-hanged, who got 1 week, and they go to 2 weeks if they fight it, when it could have been a 4-week suspension. That sort of stuff, like, that's what needs fixing in the game of rugby league, in my opinion.
I just think
that's unfortunately that's an example of where it's gone horribly wrong, and because of that example, we need to fix how we protect the players. But I think they can't change the game. To me, the only tangible way they can change things is to slowly bring in dominant one-on-one legs tackles, where players actually learn how to tackle around the legs again without knocking themselves out and be rewarded for it, or to actually stop the kickoffs. Because and look, to me, that's one of the most exciting parts of the game is watching the front rower run it off the kickoff, off the back fence. That's rugby league 101 to me, so I don't want that to happen. But that will reduce the amount of concussions in a game of rugby league. Tangibly, it actually will. They'll get a result from that. All this other stuff they do, they don't get any results. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what they're going to be looking at for me is just the duty of care of those that are around the team and why it was missed in the warm-up, why it was allowed to get to the stage that it did. I think that's where, for me, is where the repercussions are going to come. The duty of care and how they allowed it to happen. It's going to happen in rugby league. It doesn't matter. We know that. That's why you play. You know the risk when you play. We all do it. It could happen in any game. Even in Oztag, you get a copper knock. But when it comes to something like that, they're going to be looking and say, well, we've got all these professionals here and we still allowed it to happen. That's what I think is going to be the situation that they're going to be drilling into. So anyway, that remains to be seen. But yeah, let's hope he's all right for himself and his family. And we don't want anyone to have to deal with that, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I agree, Amir. I'm just saying it's an actual tangible way to get a reduction. I don't like it. Game against Storm in round 12 will be a vital. Just going back to the draw, just to change tact a little bit before I finish off these comments. Yep. Canterbury and Melbourne will lose their Origin stars before Origin 1 in round 12. and that'll be a very important game for two teams. So it'll be like the Baby Storm versus the Baby Bulldogs. There'll be a big opportunity there. If we're playing well and we've got players in Origin, that's what we want. If we're not winning many games, it's going to be important. Because the thing about Queenslanders in the Storm side is they're going to play Origin if they're fit. They're going to be picked. So whether they're doing well or not doing well, they're still going to lose players. Whereas if we're not doing that well, we probably won't have as many. We might only lose Critter. So it'd be an important game for Canterbury to win nonetheless. We have to win that game. The other two matches, we get the bye before the Origin, so we don't lose players. But if we have players in Origin, we'll have to back up with those players. And they're against Manly and West Tigers, two games I expect us to win. But the AI has made it that if the Dogs get strong representation in Origin, we're going to have to back up and beat a couple of sides who potentially could be in a bit of trouble. Their rosters, I think both sides have got very capable top 8 rosters, but they've also got a lot of inconsistencies in their whole performance and club where they could easily be in the bottom 4 again, so we'll see what happens there.
It'll depend on what the situation is by that time of the season as well. So, if we're flying high and we don't need to, back those players up, they might not. But if we're in desperate situations, then, potentially we might be, backing up some of them, maybe not all of them, depending on who's picked and how many minutes they've played in the Origin game. So, yeah.
Big shout
it's going to be
Joss.
Hey,
Sorry,
Joss.
mate.
You're all right, mate.
Yeah, we saw Joss at the Canterbury Parramatta game. I met him. He's been chatting to Pete for a long time on all things Bulldogs. Good contributor. So Paulie, he's back on. And he says Leo had some hit and defence. He's a mini James Fisher-Harris. When we get the boys will come back once they have their some of them have got injuries and are being managed a little bit differently. Jacob Preston will be the last one back because he went on that kangaroo tour. He has to have a certain amount of time off. So, yeah. And a lot of the players who played in, in the semis and stuff haven't come back yet. Peter Finker, welcome to you, Peter. Where do we play Matt Burton this year? Could he be a fullback? I just think it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Although I can imagine it in a way, but Matt Burton, you need him defending in the line. And I just don't see him being able to marshal the defensive line in that way. Oh, somebody's joined, have they? Oh, welcome, Jay Pizzle. Thank you so much, brother, for joining. That's bloody awesome. 2 joinings tonight. Well done. Thank you so much. Yeah, look, so I don't see him doing that. The person I see potentially is Cade Dykes. We've got the young fella. I always forget his bloody name every week. As soon as I remember, I forget it. And we've also, and Critter, if Critter gets to 100% fitness, he can do fullback.
Cade Dykes, what are you talking about?
Yeah, Cade Dykes is at training. He's there. So
yep.
I just don't see Burton running in and out of the line, then getting back. I just when you got to have him kicking the footy and that, you want him there on that edge doing that imposing defence that he's getting better and better at. You want him running those lines. You want him with those combinations out wide, sweeping around the back plays. I just don't see it. Those sort of fullbacks. Look, Jareen Buller, long strider. There's a few of them, Tom Travojevic, but the big strident fullbacks, they all seem to get injured non-stop, just continuously. You need those dynamic, fast off the mark, explosive little guys that can handle getting from left to right, back and back again, in and out of the line, and then running 300 meters if you need it. Like, plus support play, plus out the back, plus throw and try assists. I just don't see Matt Burton doing that. I think what people think is, if Matt Burton catches the ball in the full and gets to run 20 meters through space, he could be real hard to handle. Yes, he can. But imagine if we can't match him up front and he's catching the football, and as he's catching it, he's getting laid out 10 times a match. How do you think he's gonna respond to that? How effective is Matt Burton going to be in those circumstances? Because I can tell you now, I'm not sure. I don't think it'll be the same player.
We wasted.
That's what they used to do to Corey Oates. Tire him out, make him catch the ball, and smash him as he's catching it, so he couldn't do his second hit ups. If you're getting him off the second hit up, you're conceding about 5-10 meters bloody post contact. That's why they do it. Anyway, Paulie be excited to see him one. I've just explained why I wouldn't. Burton will be the 6th, by the way. Well done, Timmy.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, Amir. I think that'll be done. Donnie Williams. Welcome, Don. And welcome, Simon Halabi. He goes for the Bulldogs as well. Welcome to you. And welcome to Joby.
Joby.
Good to see you, brother. Haven't talked to you for a week. Can't believe it. I'll have to give you a ring. I'm going on holidays tomorrow, mate, so I'll ring you when I get home. In the Ciro era, we've seen 2 to 4 Bulldogs juniors blast onto the scene that become cold heroes. If you had to pick 3 to have a breakout year next year or over a couple, who do you think they'll be? You pick one, then I'll pick one, then you pick one. Gas?
I'd say our halfback Mitch Woods would be one.
Yep. I would say, I expect 5 to debut. I think it'll be Latu Fayunu.
Yeah.
Fayunu Latu, sorry.
Fina Latu, yeah.
Sorry about that. I think he'll get a crack, and I think people won't want to see him leave the side after it. Who's your next one?
Another one. I think if he gets the opportunity, he'll take it with both. I think Underhill will be another one that could be another sort of important keg in our team.
Yep.
Especially as a backup to everything that we're doing up there. So he could be another one, another cult hero.
Definitely. I think Jack Underhill will become a cult hero. And look, don't forget players like Todd Ziller. If he can just not break his arm, that'd be great. Poor guy, because he looks the goods. If he's got the fitness under him, he's a player who can do big things for us and become a cult hero. But look, Jacob Preston, Jacob Carraz, Maxi King and Kurt Mann are probably the next level after those two.
Harry Hayes.
Sort of cult status. And Harry Hayes and Bailey Haywood after that. So, look, I think the two Jacobs are the Bulldogs that we go, look at these two guys, the effort, the amount that they affect the game, the amount of influence they have on our games of rugby league. And I'd suppose you'd say Critter coming in similar with leadership. But I think Jack Underhill's, I think people are going to love watching him throw himself. It probably reminds me a little bit of Jake Trebojevic, to be honest, in the way he throws himself at the defence. Except Jake used to hit and stick, whereas Jack can fall off occasionally. Jake's starting to fall off a bit as he's getting older. He needs to retire or do something better. Jake Travojevic at Manly, like 1.1 million a season. People, and what's he do? 3 hit-ups and 40 metres a game. Like, no thanks. But his tackle percentage has dropped way down as well, and his minutes have dropped way down. So, yeah, you need more out of him. But, look, I see Jack Underhill like Jake years ago, although Jack probably doesn't have the ball skills that Jake's got.
Yep.
But, yeah, so I probably think you're right. I think and look, if we go out there and Mitch Wood starts carving up and doing little things and doing Stevie Mortimer chips and chases, and, well, people are going to lose their bloody mind, aren't they? Anyone else? Cassius Tia, if he gets a chance, he's pretty suave. He's got
a lot of skill. He's got a lot of skill, Cassius.
Crow's a big chance to get picked now on Critter's edge. Yeah, well, he plays on Critter's edge. Right, he plays right wing.
Maybe for Origin he's referring to, maybe.
Ah, yes.
With Lomax being out, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say that in the Parramatta discussion we'll have, and I think Bailey Simonson deciding to stay with the club was because Zach Lomax is gone. And honestly, Bailey Simonson, if he doesn't get injured, he's a phenomenal player. It could do some pretty amazing things. So it's just, again, he gets injured after he does it for 5 or 6 weeks in a row. He seems to break down.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right, Paulie. Do you take any notice of the preseason challenge games?
Not really.
If you want to listen to if you want to go back to last year's review after the Broncos trial match, yet again, everyone lost their shit. And I said to people, look, we're taking 24 players down. The Broncos had 28 players, and they had every single player that expected to play. They basically had 2 full forward rotations, and they used their whole team, so they played a fresh side, whereas we played like we were only playing a normal sort of game. We played some of our juniors and that, and I felt it was a good struggle for about 25, 30 minutes. Then they sort of got around us easy. But the point I'm making is that we used that as a real trial, and it steeled us and set us up so well for that opening round match against the Dragons. What happened to the Broncos in round 2? They got smashed by the Raiders, So, yeah, one of the trials will just be a bunch of the kids playing, and I don't think there'll be any NRL players unless they're sort of behind the 8 ball and they need a run. You'll find it'll be the majority of the kids playing, and then in the second game against Newcastle, which is the week after the Cowboys game, I think you'll see a full trial played with pretty good intensity to get that team ready for 2 weeks after that to go to Vegas. That's what I think we'll see for the Bulldogs. So do I take them seriously? Fucking oath, from the point that it's a trial to prepare for round 1. Our Las Vegas grand final.
Not the result, though. We don't care about the result. It's what it's used for.
Exactly.
You got a new member there as well, mate. Hinsey98. Welcome, Hinsey.
G'day, Hinsey. Oh, thank you. He joined the other day. Thank you, brother. Champion. There we go. All the people join. Oh, no, you just joined then too. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Love your jersey, brother.
John's asking above that, who will be 7, Galvin to 13. I still think Galvin will start at 7. So still too early for any of the 13 talk.
Yeah, well, look, Michael Chamis gets on Jammer's podcast and he's like, oh, Galvin, like, he'll never be 13. He's not big enough. Like he's got no idea. Like, what the fuck is he talking about? He's definitely not big enough at the moment. He doesn't look like he's put on too much weight in the preseason or in the off season, but he's been running. And as I said, he's broken some records today or yesterday, I think it was, in one of the testings that they did. So, look, he'll be 7, and whatever happens, he might move to 6, whatever. Won't matter. Our boys will play a game, the best game they can play to win a game of football. And if that means that, you know, Hayward's playing halfback from hooker, doesn't matter. They'll do whatever they got to do. The coach will work it out. But as far as playing 13, I think Burton's more of a chance at that at the moment than young Galvin. Yeah, you're right, James. Welcome again. Got a few Jameses. Yeah, look, Woods. What we'll see from Woods is if he gets, they won't want to expose him, and when he plays, he's going to have to make his tackles. That's what it comes down to. If he can make his tackles, he can play. If he can't tackle them big boys, and they've got to protect him too much, well, he'll just keep working on his defence. That's the way I see it. There's no protecting anyone anymore.
Which is what Sexton did very well, defence.
Let's have a look at our background display. We'll make ourselves smaller. Oh, not that one. There's Mitchie Woods there. Look, he's pretty buff, actually. Lockie, we got Tomo. We've got Gordon. Look at he's bloody ripped, Gordon. And what about Finu Latu? They bloody worked hard in the off-season, these boys. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, right.
There we go. Oh, it's Trent from Punchy. Yes, Trent, that is Peter Volandis. And he's just declared that Punch Bowl will be the new franchise that'll be opening up to take the place of the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. I love Trent from Punchy. He used to crack me up. I hope that is you, Trent. I'd really love it if it was.
He's saying Woods looks different, yeah.
He looks a bit more mature. I think he's driving in his car, he's probably going out night clubbing.
Heinzie, you're right. If we give DCF more time, mate, his winning record as a Bulldog is the best, mate, for anyone with 10 games or more. So he's only ever lost one game as a Bulldog, and he played 1 minute. 8-6 lost to Penrith. 12 games, 1 loss. So, yes, if we're getting more game time, we want that run to continue. Yes, please.
More DSF. Look, as I said, once we get an 80-minute hooker, once we get a 13 that can play 80, they can carry a DSF on the bench, no problem, with a couple of others. Paulie was going to say Cassius Tia. He's underrated. We know how good he is, brother.
Yep.
He can play 6 centre lock, second row. I reckon he could play hooker too. Sort of got a similar body shape to me as a similar swagger to Isaac Luke. No. Trent. What are you saying, bro? Oh, that's lovely, mate. Thanks for joining. Enjoy. See ya. Jed Reardon's another one to look forward to watching in first grade. Mick mentioned Logan Spinks is another one to look forward to. Yeah, so Jed, he's come a long way, and he's turned up for pre-season. He's going good. And Logan Spinks is another. Those two actually did a great job in New South Wales Cup last year, especially the second half of the year. They were phenomenal, and I expect big things from them. To the point, Luke Smith's been forced out of the club because these kids have surpassed him. With Jethro Rinikama gone for the first half of the season, who becomes our backup winger? I reckon Jonathan Sewer, bro. All right, you read some now, mate.
Logan Spinks is good, but I hope Zion can have a good preseason to crack into the side. So obviously he fell out of favour, in the start of last year. Probably didn't hit the expectations they were hoping from him. I mean, his package when you watch it was outstanding when you see what he can do. But it's one thing to be a good player; it's another thing to fit into a good team. So hopefully he's got 1 year under his belt to make that work for him, because there was talk of him sort of disappearing as well. Dolphins will be the smoky this year with Williams at 6.
I'll have to keep that going. Our good old mate Gas is just frozen. He looks amazing. Trev for Punchy. Dolphins will be the smoky this year with Williams at 6 and Katoa 7 and Marshall King at 9 with the hammer at the back. Yeah, I think Dolphins will be a big smoky. I think there'll be a few. South Sydney, if they'll get Campbell Graham back, might have a fit Latrell. They'll talk him up as usual. Cody, they've been working him. Fafita might actually do something under Wayne Bennett. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And they've got Jake Averillo. Show me the way to Averillo. Peter Webber's been crying on his pillow. He wrote that song, by the way. Mate, it'd be good if we had the Win DSF. Watched him many times early on, but he gradually improved. He came back from injury, will only improve, needs game time, but others in the line first. That's it. So Gas is still trying to connect again. He's having some internet issues out in his new place. 100% right, Pete. 100%. Should Kurtman start a lock in 2026? No, I don't believe so. I think Kurtman's better off the bench. I love. See, what I'm excited about is you've got Leo Thompson and Max King starting, can play a genuine 25 minutes of 1-2 punch. To then be able to bring Kurtman on, Jamin Salmon to start. It works well for me because he's really good in that wrestle. He's doing the best he can. And here we go. Gas has come on again. How you going, brother? Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yep.
Can you hear me? Oh, wonderful.
Can hear you now. Yep. I think I lost connection on the other one, so I've just gone to the phone.
Beautiful. I answered that question for you. But yeah, look, I think Kurtman's better with his impact off the bench. He's a smaller body, right? And he goes 100 miles an hour from the moment he gets out there to the moment he comes off. And because he's doing that to players which have already got energy out of them, right? So they've already been doing that work and defending, which means he's so much more effective against those other players on the field, which is why his footwork is good at changing direction of our attack sometimes. He can link up with the middle forwards or the edge back rowers, which is what he's done really well. or he can, as I said, reshape the attack and go the other way. Takes to the line, gets hit. Gives space to the halves. He does a whole heap of work, and his defensive aggression, especially as that second man in a lot of the time, is really big for us. And I just find I think there'll be games where you bring Kurt Mann in to start, but that'll be few and far between. So see how it goes. It sounds like I can hear water pouring.
No.
So you go, Gus. Can you see this one?
Gus giving Reed Marnie the best compliment he can give to the start of the season to pushing him out towards the end is quite sad, to be fair.
I love your photo. Is that DCE in his neck? Love it. I'll tell you should go watch a podcast I did talk about the truth behind Marnie, Galvin, all that sort of stuff. In the middle of the year when Galvin was coming to the club, that statement is absolute rubbish. In all respect, Reed Marnie asked for a release at the start of the year because, look, basically it's like this: you got a player which the coach has decided is not an 80-minute player, so we're paying $600,000 for a player that's been playing 80 minutes. That's great, but after about 60 minutes, starts to red line. If things are going bad, starts to do hero plays and all this sort of stuff. Go for 2 40-20s, 2 sets in a row. Might put one out in the full or put it on the chest of the fullback when we need to probably ruck it another hit. When the rest of the team didn't know about it, there's no communication, gave away penalties, whatever it was. Look, there's no tougher player in the field than Reed Marnie. What he put himself through to defend for our club, I love Reed. But for people to sit there and say Gus booted him out of the club, no. His manager's one of Gus's best mates. And his manager's gone to Gus. He wanted to extend Reed Marnie straight away. 2 years early. Like, he's supposed to be playing this year. He was only supposed to talk about his contract come November. So he was basically asking to be extended like 10 or 11 months before the deadline was there. And the Dogs said, we're not ready to do it yet. And to be honest, it all happened because Reece Robson left the Cowboys, which meant that inflated the market a bit because those teams were desperate for a quality hooker. And then you got the scenario of Reed basically being told that we're going to start bringing Bailey Hayward as a 20-minute hooker into games and stuff. And if Burton didn't get injured early, Bailey would have been coming off the bench a lot earlier, not in the game against the Broncos in round 8 or whatever it was, which is when it first happened, where Reed sort of got taken off or left off the field. So, yeah, look, these are the truths around the matter. Reed was offered a contract and knocked it back. He was given a better contract from the Cowboys. That's the facts. The Dogs don't answer to anyone, though. They don't need to talk about it. Reed told everyone that, he wants to play 80 minutes. He doesn't like to go off. That's just who he is. But he'll do whatever's best for the team. It doesn't have to like it, though. And he's a pretty transparent sort of guy. That you need that sort of ego. You need that sort of personality to stand in front of 6'5" mountain men who are 120 kilos. And if you watch the way Reed Marnie dumped Payne Haas, Moses Leota, actually every single bloke, I think he tried Adam Fanua Blake and wasn't successful, but nearly every big prop in the game this year, Reed got them one-on-one and dumped them on their ass. So that says something about the guy to me. He's pretty fucking talented in that. But, yeah, lose he just struggles with the workload over 80 minutes, and it can cost us games in the discipline type of game that Serrato wants us to play. So there you go. Yeah, Salmon will be 13, mate, in my opinion. What do you think, Gas?
Yeah, I agree, mate.
Yeah, he is, brother. And guys, we're going to end this in about 5 minutes. We've got 125 people watching, which is a bloody record. So well done to you guys, you night owls. Just dropped by about 15 people. So thanks for that. But we've got to go to bed. We started late, and yeah, things to do. Yeah, I think Marnie will be great for the Cowboys. I think you're right there. Gordon might be our next Matty Utai. Oh, he's nuggety like him. He's got legs the size of Matty, that's for sure. But he won't be on the wing, brother. He'll be playing hooker. Yep, King will be number 8 or number 10. That'll be interesting to see who wears the number 8. Will it be Max King or Leo Thompson? I'm not sure they'll care either way, but that'll be interesting. Yeah, Thompson's going to be a gun, says JB. Williams is going to the Dolphins in 2027. Who's that? Which Williams? Tony Williams. He's making a comeback. G'day, Henny Benny. Tay Cochran looks good as well. That's the bloke, Timmy. Yeah, he'll continue to improve. He'll continue to improve, bro. Oh, Michael, welcome. Oh, thank you, Mike. It's good to see you on here, brother. Yeah, I'm having a good night. Gas is having a good night. Gas, who do you think we're going to announce for 27 soon? Who do you reckon will be the first one they announce?
From the current team, you mean? As in re-signing or?
Yeah, re-signings.
I'm not sure. We'll have to see who's unsigned. I mean, all the good ones obviously probably still got 27. I mean, Preston and Jacob.
And you got Kickow and Tracy, Jack Todd, and all these youngsters.
I'll tell you who I think. Someone who's on a 1-year deal is who I think will get 2027. Someone who can play fullback. There you go. That's my pick.
Tracy.
KD. Yep, that's who I think is going to be. He's got a 1-year deal. I think this year he will have an opportunity to show what he can do if he's fit, and I think he's someone that we will sign for 27 and beyond.
There you go.
That's my pick.
Edwin Apape for Dogs number 9, 2027. Look, I don't think Woods will come into the first grade side until, unless there's an injury to Burton or Haywood or Galvin early on. I don't think we'll see Woods until there's an injury, or Origin, or if we're having some bad form, or they just want to rest someone.
Origin.
Yeah, well, Donnie, I think we might see Joey O'Neill in the 30. Potentially, what's his name? Jonathan Sewer. So I'm hoping those two are in the 30. Because Joey might be able to provide some backup at half and hooker as well. But I don't think we're going to see any new players come into the team from outside the club. Ricky's got enough on his plate, mate. Aki's getting tired.
Yep.
Yeah,
I told him it would be an hour. We've been an hour and 35, mate. Sorry, buddy.
All right, we're going to go in 2 minutes. I hope Connor will be re-signed. Round 12. Butch to debut in round 12. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining and saying hello tonight. Thank you to everyone who joined the membership tonight. And thank you, Gas, for saying those beautiful words and encouraging people to join. It's very hard to say myself. But, yeah, much appreciated, people. And, yeah. And thank you to you, Jamie, with your super chat. That really helps us. So much appreciated to you.
Can you just give us a
people,
fashion show before you go? Can you show us your jacket before you go, mate? Show us your hoodie.
Oh, well, this is my hoodie that I made. So it's got, I put last year's logo on it. It's pretty flashy, and it says Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs down here. It's got number 6 on it, which is Terry Lamb's number, or Matty Burton. Can you see that?
All Things Bulldogs Media.
There you go.
The Dogfather. The Hulk. The Dogfather. Looks good, guys. He's taking orders if anyone wants one. You can get yours personalised as well.
You can if you want one. Someone got me that. And that's little to hang in your car. All Things Bulldogs Media. But I actually got a new logo now. So I made this logo. I really liked it. And I made another one that I like more. So there you go.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming tonight. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night, everyone. And thanks again to everyone who joined and is a member already. Much appreciated. And we'll talk to you soon. There's lots coming up. We're going to have some interviews with a couple of players, doing some more articles on some juniors. We're doing one on young CJ Uday, another article on him. Once we see how he goes in preseason with Steve Turner and SG Ball, and see what's happening there. Thank you, Timmy. I have to play us a song on the guitar. Did you see me guitar, did you? Yeah, it's me Fender semi-acoustic. We need to get Pete Weber on here to play his guitar. He's awesome. He writes songs about the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
All right, night, Aki, get to bed. I'm going to tell my 14, 13-year-old girl to get to some sleep now. So she's probably still awake. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night and go the Dogs.
Go the Doggies. See
Oi.
you guys.
Oi.